Iran's nuclear standoff and Ukraine war chaos. Global tensions explode. Iran has publicly rejected U.S. attempts to restart talks about its nuclear energy program. American officials, led by diplomat Steve Witkoff, are pushing Iran to resume negotiations through private calls and media statements. However, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi insists no discussions will happen unless the U.S. guarantees it won't launch military strikes during talks. These demands follows a recent 12-day war where the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran's nuclear sites. Iran claims these attacks failed to destroy its uranium enrichment technology, which it vows to rebuild. Western leaders worry Iran could now pursue nuclear weapons faster without international inspectors monitoring its facilities. Conflicting reports on troop numbers in Sumy region. A Russian source claims a recent article about 50,000 Russian troops in the Sumy area was fake news created by Ukrainian intelligence. The truth, according to the source, is that Russia has far fewer soldiers there. Meanwhile, Ukraine has moved extra forces to Sumy and built strong defenses. The balance of power between Russia and Ukraine in the region is nearly equal. Russia's key advantage include more heavy weapons, active air attack using cluster bombs, which Ukraine cannot use, and better drone technology. However, the original report exaggerated Ukraine's disadvantage, making it seem like they were outnumbered 3-1. A London Times article reveals the US is rushing to secure a new nuclear deal with Iran, despite President Trump's claim that Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. The report suggested US officials fear Iran's unmonitored uranium stockpile could enable rapid nuclear weapon development. Iran previously agreed to limit enrichment to 3.7% under a 2015 deal, but now demands recognition of its right to peaceful enrichment. The US insists Iran abandon all enrichment, creating a deadlock. Analysts warn that without a deal, Israel may attack Iran again, a risk that alarms European nations. Doubts about casualty numbers. The video creator admits they no longer trust casualty reports from either side. Ukrainian sources claim Russia has suffered 50,000 plus deaths, but the creator believes these numbers are inflated. Even Western analysts like Owen Matthews admit Russia's military is still functional despite losses, suggesting the war isn't as costly for Moscow as many believes. The creator stops reporting Russian claims about Ukrainian casualties, as both sides' figures are likely inaccurate. However, Ukraine's own reports confirm they have lost many soldiers, proving their struggles are real. Iran's foreign minister stated in a CBS News interview that science and technology cannot be bombed away, emphasizing Iran's ability to repair damage from US-Israeli strikes. He linked national pride to Iran's defense during the 12 days war, asserting that talks require ironclad US security guarantees. Iran suspects the June attacks aim to eliminate its leadership, citing threatening message to officials. Russia's TASS news agency highlighted these statements, underscoring global attention. Experts doubt Trump can provide credible assurance, given his inconsistent threats and approval of recent strikes. U.S. mediation efforts criticized. General Keith Kellogg, a U.S. official, accused Russia of stalling peace talks. However, his evidence comes from Ukrainian media, like the Kyiv Independent, raising questions about bias. The U.S. sends weapons to Ukraine while pretending to mediate, creating a conflict of interest. For example, Ukraine claims Russia has suffered 1 million casualties, and U.S. officials accept this without proof. This one-sided approach makes ending the war harder and shows how media and government manipulate facts. Western media initially portrayed the US-Israeli attack on Iran as successful, but evidence shows it backfired. Independent analysts like Daniel DePriticus, Daily Telegraph, and Jeffrey Lewis, Foreign Policy, argue Iran emerged stronger. It expelled UN nuclear inspectors, hit its uranium stockpiles, and proved its missiles capabilities against Israel. Russia and China now offer Iran advanced air defense systems like Sukhoi jets and S-400 missiles to deter future strikes. Iran hesitates, prioritizing self-reliance, but pressure mounts to accept allies' help amid looming threats. Ukraine's military struggles. Ukrainian forces are stretched thin, constantly moving troops to plug gaps along a 200-mile front line. A Russian analyst predicts Russia will soon break through Ukraine's defense in the Nero region, accelerating the war. Ukraine's landscape in this area, open fields and few forests, favors Russia's tactics. The Russian military is gaining momentum, with stronger attacks every month. Ukrainian officials warn their situation could become insurmountable by midsummer, as Russia outlasts them using its larger population and industrial resources. In Ukraine, Russian forces advanced despite Western claims of their disastrous losses. British analyst Owen Matthews, Daily Telegraph, admits confusion. If Russia suffers 1,000 daily casualties as reported, how does it keep gaining ground? U.S. Congressman Thomas Massie revealed intelligence briefing amid Ukrainian losses, eroding credibility. Russian sources told TASS that Ukrainian reports of 50,000 troops in Sumy are inflated. Fortifications exist and forces are evenly matched. This suggests casualty figures are exaggerated to mask Ukraine's struggles. Russia's war costs are manageable. Despite heavy losses, Russia's war machine keeps running. The creator argues that the conflict's cost for Russia is affordable, allowing them to keep advancing. Western media often claims Russia is struggling, but this is an article of faith, not backed by fact. For example, Russia is producing 1,200 plus tanks yearly, building reserves in the rear, while Ukraine receives Western weapons. Russia's ability to replenish supplies gives them a long-term edge. Russian progress in Donbas and Zaporizhia signals a strategic shift. Villages like Trinko, lithium-rich, and Dashnia fell, while assault near Velikia Mikhailovka threatened to cut supply lines to Gulyapol. Experts predict Russia's summer offensive will peak by autumn, targeting Zaporizhia city. Open terrain in Kharkiv favors rapid advances, potentially splitting Ukraine. Kirill Bodanov, Ukraine's intelligence chief, privately warned of insurmountable challenges, contradicting his public optimism. Media bias and misinformation. The video criticized Western media for spreading a narrative of denial about Russia's gain. Articles claiming Russia's offensive has stalled or is too costly are contradicted by ground realities. Owen Matthews, a respected analyst, recently wrote that Putin will fight to the bitter end, but the creator argues this ignores Russia's strategic patience. The war is not as hard for Russia as some believe, and the West's refusal to reassess its biased information risks prolonging the conflict. Keith Kellogg, a U.S. mediator, accused Russian spokesman Dmitry Peskov of overly stalling in peace talks. However, Kellogg cited the Kyiv Independent, a Ukrainian outlet, not Russian source. Peskov actually stated via TASS that Ukraine knows Russia's term and hostilities by accepting Putin's 2022 demands, including neutrality and Donbas independence. The U.S. mediation role is questioned, since it arms Ukraine, complicating trust. Ukraine's future looked grim. Ukrainian President Zelensky and military leaders privately admit the war is becoming unwinnable. A major Russian breakthrough in the Nero region could collapse Ukraine defense. The creator urged U.S. intelligence to stop relying on Ukrainian sources and reassess the situation. If they do, they may realize Ukraine's defeat is inevitable without drastic changes, a truth that would shock Western leaders. Iran weighs risky path, building nuclear weapons, possibly 12 bombs in 3 years, invites preemptive strikes. While rejecting deals risk another war, experts urge security pact with Russia, China instead. Russia ratified a partnership with Iran in June 2025, offering Sukhoi 35 jets, but Iran delayed accepting. China's 25-year deal lacks defense clause. Speed is critical. Delays could leave Iran vulnerable to renew U.S.-Israeli attacks. Iran's nuclear standoff. While the U.S. tries to restart nuclear talks with Iran refused unless Washington offers written guarantees it won't attack. Even then, Iran wants third-party backup from allies like China or Russia. Israel would never agree to such guarantees, making a deal impossible. Iran insists its nuclear knowledge cannot be erased by bombs, leaving the U.S. desperate to negotiate. Russia's war economy strives, losing 1,200 tanks yearly, 300 new T-90s, 900 refurbished, reserve stockpile equipment, debunking depletion, narratives, historical context matters. Soviet losses in Afghanistan were once inflated, claims 200,000, reality 13,000, 20,000. Similarly, Ukrainian sources, Russian casualty states like Media Zona lack verification. U.S. intelligence should reassess data as over-reliance on Ukrainian claims distort reality. Global implications. These two crises, Iran's nuclear program and Ukraine, are interconnected. If the U.S. backed down on Iran, it could embolden other nations to defy Western pressure. Similarly, a Russian victory in Ukraine would reshape global alliance. The creator warns viewers to question media narratives and rely on critical thinking. In a world of propaganda, the truth often lies in plain sight, hidden by bias and misinformation. Global chaos escalate as conflict intertwine. Iran's defiance and Ukraine's attrition reflect a multipolar world challenging Western dominance. Immigrants worldwide feel these tensions through economic instability, family separation, or trauma from violence. Leaders must prioritize diplomacy over escalation. Ordinary lives hang in the balance. As one analyst warns, without realistic peace efforts, love for homeland becomes chaos in exile. Many of my listeners, like 70%, haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel. And so many of you don't even know that you haven't subscribed. And that is actually what makes the show going. It's almost like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask again and again, because it enables us to grow and grow and grow and grow. And we're going for the long haul here. And listen, if this is your first time listening to Soak Heinrich, you don't have to subscribe. You guys, your first one's on me. But if you have watched this show before, it's like you are a freeloader now. So all I would ask you is, if you have seen this show before and you like it, help me. Help my team here. Hit the subscribe button and we will continue to build the show for you. That I swear. Thank you to all of you guys who have subscribed. It means a lot to me. So hit that subscribe and like button now. That's all from me. More from me soon. Have a wonderful day.